We are going to move over to Arizona basketball as well, because unlike Arizona State or Colorado, we are actually good at both sports. Okay, so Arizona, I am of the opinion when it comes to the 2025 class year, this is where I believe Tommy Lloyd's got to make his mark. Now, listen, when it comes to grad transfers, he's fantastic. He's A++. When it comes to international recruiting, so far, not good. When it comes to domestic recruiting, kind of meh. This is the year where I think you've got to be able to get a very nice domestic high school class. We're going to break down these ones player by player, but why not talk about Nick Kamania first? Because you have a little bit of an insight. This is true.
Yeah, he just released his top 5. Arizona is in it, and he's going to visit all those schools before making a decision. And Arizona is getting the visit August 31st. It's going to get the official. Then he's going to Carolina. Then he's going to Duke. The other schools in his top 5 are Gonzaga and UCLA. Arizona believes that it's very much in this picture.
All right, let's cut through the crap. Is he going to Gonzaga?
I say Gonzaga is probably the favorite, but Arizona's made up a good amount of ground, and they've recruited them hard, and they're in it. To me, anytime you get a kid on campus, you're in it.
Okay, fair enough. Now, Peat. Arizona is very much in it for Peat. Shane Diefenbach has the highlights, I believe, for Peat. Listen, Peat's an interesting dude, because first of all, just look at his calves. I mean, you can tell where he's coming from a football family.
Very similar to our calves.
It is very similar. I think when you look at Mike Luke's calves, you think girthy calves. And but you know what's really kind of interesting about Peat? This isn't necessarily an Aaron Gordon situation, because let's be honest here. As good as Aaron Gordon was, when Aaron Gordon came to the U of A and we had to pretend that he was a small forward, he had none of these type of abilities whatsoever. Peat's actually developed a fairly substantial offensive dribbling game, Jason Shearer.
Yeah, I don't want him playing the 3, though.
I don't want to play the 3 either. I'm just saying that it's not nearly the same thing.
He's not inept offense. Aaron Gordon was basically, I'm more athletic than you, and so I'm going to score that way. Coapita is probably a better shooter than Gordon was. Gordon is definitely more explosive and athletic. Yeah, I mean, I think Koa is a 4 shooter. I think if you wanted to, you could go small ball 5. It also depends on the defense. The biggest reason I wouldn't want Koa at the 3 is defensively. So if you could find a way to put him there because the opposition doesn't have a great 3-man or whatever, then yeah, sure. I think offensively he could get away with it.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm saying though is that some of the stuff, and I agree with you entirely, but I guess some of the stuff, what I'm saying is that he's definitely developed more of an offensive game than I thought he was going to be able to develop at this point. I did not see him being able to actually dribble the ball and be an impactful dribbler.
And again, like a lot of it comes down to when you see 5-star guys, and really anyone, but 5-star guys, you want to see them keep improving and not just be the same guy a year ago that they are in 2 years. And his offensive game has absolutely improved.
You know, and that's with Peat. I think that was a question that I think we had, you know, when we saw him, because you originally were not big on Peat. Sure, this is true. I said
no, I think I'm still wondering. I'm not completely sold of Peat in the NBA.
I believe Peat's going to play in the NBA. I just have no clue what he's going to be.
Right. I think he's clearly going to get drafted and all that. Is he an NBA All-Star? That I don't know.
I'm curious if he's also in his 1 year in college, if he's going to be that dude that is just so strong and powerful that he can just kind of move you out of the way and score. And nobody really knows quite what to do with him from a drafting perspective.
Oh, I think he comes in as a freshman and averages like 15 and 8.
Yeah, I agree.
Because he's that strong and he's good. Like, I mean, look at him when he plays international ball. He kills everyone.
All right, now I'm going to say this, and again, things are fluid. We get all of this. That's our disclaimer. But I am going to say that I do believe that he, right now, I do believe that Arizona is the leader in the clubhouse for Mr. Coapita.
I hate saying stuff like that. You know me.
Just say it, man. Dude, if you're wrong, you're wrong.
There is not a school currently in better position than Arizona.
Can I ask you guys a question? And this goes for your compadre across the in Tempe as well. What is the problem with saying?
There is no problem with admitting you're wrong. It's recruiting predictions. If I tell you right now that Arizona leads for Koa Peat. That's going to be all over the place. And then if he doesn't choose Arizona fans and really any fan base will be like, well, Shear told us they led. Arizona effed it up. Or it's not worth it.
All right. Well, you know what? I think you need to say, listen, man, I've got a grizzly beard. I will not put up with any of that. Boom, take this. All right, Koa Peat. Now, Mikkel Brown and Brayden Burries at I almost said at the offensive point guard position. At the point guard position. No, he's not going to be better than Sean Elliott.
Yeah, everybody calm down.
Sean Elliott was the National Player of the Year. Maybe if Koa Peat stays 4 years. But Mikkel Brown, Brayden Burries. Does Arizona get one of these two players? I'm putting you on the spot here, Shear.
I would lean towards no as of now.
That Arizona doesn't get either one of them?
Yes, as of now. That could change. But I do think Arizona, I don't know. Mikkel Brown's going to visit. As of now, he's eyeing a game to visit, and his family's keeping it quiet and all that. Burries.
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be disappointed if they can't get one of those two. I'm sorry. I would start to have. I think you need to get multiple 5-star domestic players in this class.
Well, once they get Koa and Kaminia, would you still be disappointed?
No.
Okay.
But I still think
you need 4 guys on the table. Let's put 4 guys on the table, right? Let's just put Kaminia, Koa Peat, Burries, and Brown. 2 of 4, we're happy.
Yes, exactly. Now, okay, yeah, 2 of 4. We are more than happy. Now, also Xavion Staten. I get asked about this guy all the time.
I don't think Arizona's moved on from him completely, but I think it's established that it likes Emmanuel Steven. It likes Toby Awaka. And if worse comes to worse, it could always get a guy out of the portal. Staten is not going to play his first year. I just think Arizona feels there's other directions to go in.
I also believe as well, by the way, this is true, that I was the one that discovered Toby Awaka was visiting here. This is true, Shear. I'm not even kidding.
Yes, you at Culinary Dropout, you called me and you said, Shear, there's a guy and I think he plays basketball. Find out who it is.
You should have seen Murph. Murph was great the whole time because Murph and I locked eyes, and then Murph's like going like this.
So paranoid. College basketball coaches are the most paranoid human beings on earth.
Especially a great guy like Murph that works so hard, but he's like super paranoid about it because he doesn't want any secrets to get out. And then it was funny. So he's like looking down and everything. And he denied this to my face. And I said, Murph, come on, let's be honest here. But then he looked up and I locked eyes on him and I just went like this.
Did you wink at him?
What's that?
Did you give him a little wink?
Locked eyes. Yeah. No, I got a little bit of a man crush on Murph for sure. I got a little bit of a man crush. I got no problem admitting that.
I get it.
But either way, 2025, that's the year. I need multiple 5-star players. You get multiple 5-star players. I feel happy. I feel good about it. That's what I need, though. Okay, now let's see here. Let's see here.
One more question before we move on. Mike, do you think, because you're saying that you need at least 2 5-stars, do you think that would get an identity for Tommy as like a recruiter on his own? Because I know at Gonzaga he was the international guy. He comes over here, he's killing it with transfers. But like, do you think that he yet has an identity as a recruiter, and can this class get him that?
Well, see, that's a great question because for high school recruiting, it's kind of been, I mean, you look at players, and again, some of it's because, a guy like Caleb Love came back, so you lost Josan Saint-On, et cetera, et cetera. But overall, it's been kind of meh. I mean, KJ Lewis has really been the only super impact high school player, and we're in year 3. But I also can't say that he stinks, though. Because at the same time, I also think that, Carter Bryant was a 5-star kid they prioritized. Kylan Boswell wasn't good here, but he was a 5-star guy. It's a really mixed bag when it comes to the domestic high school recruiting. Shear, what say you?
Yeah, I mean, it would certainly help establish him as an elite recruiter. Last year's class or this incoming class would have been that had Jamari and Zayden and all those guys not moved on or whatever. So yeah, I think he eventually needs to land like a top 5 class and kind of shut people like Mike up.
All right, well, Kevin Thomas, let's ask you, Kevin Thomas. What say you, my friend? What do you want to see out of 2025 when it comes to the Tommy Guns recruiting?
I think you guys brought up a great point about Caleb Love coming back and that kind of messing with the balance of what the interest from high schoolers were and like their playing time and things like that. I think Billy brought up a good point in the chat about like the NIL thing being a real thing. You brought it up yesterday. or 2 days ago. One of the two things, Mike, when you were saying, like, if I was a college student or a high school student, I'm asking two questions. How much can you pay me? And the second question is, how much playing time am I going to get? And like, can you get me to the NBA or whatever, the next level? And so I think Tommy's doing a good job of showing, like, hey, even if you're not maybe the best player, I can get you into the NBA if you work with me. I think we've seen, some players kind of really develop, I think personally, higher than they would have developed elsewhere. But I think in terms of his recruitment identity, I think right now he's kind of like in limbo of like, are you the international guy or are you going to be a domestic guy or what's the deal here?
I think he's the transfer portal guy, because the one thing about him is that we can't really dispute is that he's amazing when it comes to the portal. I mean, you just look at the guys that he's brought in, and you mentioned guys that, you look at a Numar Ballo, you look at a Caleb Love, you look at a Jaden Bradley, a lot of L's there for sure. You look at, some of the other Keyshawn Johnson, et cetera, et cetera. I mean, this dude really does knock the ball out of the park when it comes to the transfer portal, fellas.
Yeah, he does. And he gets impact players too. Like, he doesn't just get quantity, he gets quality, it seems.
We all silly like the mayor.